Okay, I cannot see if we are live. So
You are live.
I am live. Thank you, Robert. All I see is yesterday's show or class with Dr. Lorraine Day. So let me refresh my screen. And while I'm refreshing, I want to encourage you to help me grow the classroom. Help me grow the classroom by liking, sharing, following, tagging, because the algorithms are just gobbling us. And this is how you can help. So today we are going to talk about my move, the move. And so hopefully we'll be able to have a conversation. As always, all you have to do is type in a Q and ask your questions, and we should be able to, I'll be able to answer. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a intimate gathering where we can have that conversation together. Okay, so I am getting ready here. Let me make sure I open everything so that, hey, Kathleen, I'm glad that you are with us this morning. Are we ready to learn and grow together? Okay, so today I'm going to talk about, let me just put on my record button. It is amazing that I'm getting anything done. I would say that by the grace of God, I am able to function these last week with the move that we've had. And so it brought into my awareness a resistance and what resistance feels like. It's been a while since I've been in resistance. And during this move, I felt it a lot. So fasten your seatbelts because we're going to learn and grow together. And it is time to dance because dancing will change everything. So here we go.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, as you know, I have been moving. So I'll tell you a little story because today I am just going to share. There's nobody else going to be joining us, but you guys are the teachers and you guys are the students. I am the teacher. I am a student. We're all teachers and students. And that is probably the best perspective, to be curious instead of critical, to be just aware that how you feel and all these things. And I experienced this, part of the I Am the Solution, the New Truth series, I Am the Solution workshop, the weekend workshop, which is the continuing credits of the soul. Everybody gets continuing credit points and all of that so they can continue doing what they're doing. But nobody cares about continuing education of the spirit or the soul. Just reading about it is not going to do it. You've got to understand it. You've got to make it your truth. It can't be the Bible's truth. It can't be Dr. Day's truth. It can't be Lillian McDermott's truth. It can't be Dr. Furman's truth. It has to become something that you research, deal with, and all of a sudden you go, that is what is happening. Is that happening to you? Has that ever happened to you where you find yourself in a place where you do not want to be in? And trust me, I hope I never have to move again. And hope, as we know, is not in the Bible. The word is expectation. So my expectation is that I will never, ever, 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 ever have to move again. This last move was done. It was, we prayed about this move, Robert and I, we prayed about this move. And the prayer was, God, if you don't want it, we don't want it either. If you want it for us, please open doors. And guess what? Doors opened. But was that enough? Was that enough for it to be God's plan? Was that enough to say, everything's going to be smooth sailing? No, it isn't. And that expectation of smooth sailing is going to get to you every single time. And so today I want to share with you some of the things that I went through, some of the things that I'm still going through. And by the way, unless there's a bajillion questions, we have a hard out at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, because I've got boxes and boxes and boxes that I am expecting to just miraculously disappear. That's what I want them to do. I just want them to do that. So have you ever been in a situation where you didn't sign up for this? Absolutely did not sign up for this. This is not supposed to be as hard as you thought it would be. I remember the morning of, and I'll write about this in my blog, but the leading up to the move, I was like feeling very calm. I knew that this was what needed to happen. This is what we wanted. And obviously, if God didn't open all the doors for us, then perhaps it wouldn't have happened. So I was expecting for this to be as smooth as possible. I hired movers to help us. We had some flooring that we needed to change prior to the move, got that all straightened out. Everything looked good. But then all of a sudden, we were told that we only had the day before Thanksgiving to move. Now, the day before Thanksgiving, not a big deal. Thanksgiving Day, we had 15 people showing up. And the day after Thanksgiving, for the traditional leftover turkey hoagies that by many of our children, they say it's their favorite meal of the year, I went ahead and kept that on too. I made a commitment. And just because I made other plans or other plans needed to happen, didn't mean I needed to change my commitment. So Tuesday was the flooring was going to be put on, Wednesday the move, Thursday the Thanksgiving gathering, and Friday the children were coming back to have their traditional favorite meal of the year, leftover hoagies, turkey hoagies, because I create a different concoction for them. So what happens? We get the keys on Monday. We're all excited. We get to see the most beautiful sunset. Oh no, that was Monday. That was a launch, I believe. We got to see the rocket launch. Everything was flowing. On Tuesday morning, I thought things were just absolutely perfect. Prayed, did my morning meditation, and then I go to the place and I noticed that the flooring people brought the wrong floor. We didn't have much time. So they went ahead and put it on. Then they weren't done. So they weren't done for Wednesday's move. So that did not work out really well. I had to go get more flooring too. And that didn't work out really well. Then the movers show up an hour late. And not only did they show up an hour late, They didn't do what I wanted them to do, which is move the furniture, then move the boxes. No, they moved the boxes. And then later on that evening, which there's apparently a homeowners association or condo association that says you can only move from the hours of 8 and 5. Well, it was 6:30. We still didn't have our master bedroom or the china hutch or a lot of our furniture. So the movers needed to come on Thursday morning of Thanksgiving to deliver the rest of our furniture. But that wasn't it. Still, the boxes in the garage were still there. So they had to come back on Friday. So that 13 hours tops move that we thought turned into a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. So I felt this resistance in me, but not because Thanksgiving was just, it was beautiful. They came back, the movers came back, they brought all the furniture. We put everything where it needed to be. The place, the people couldn't believe that the place we had just moved in that morning, and people came over at 4 o'clock that afternoon or 3 o'clock that afternoon. And so everything would look like, okay, this is going to be okay until the next day. Have you ever gotten to a place in your life where you overcommit yourself and you realize, oh no, that's not good. I have not slept more than 3 hours. I have, those are all things that we can do. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to that feeling of overcommitting and things not working out to the way? So there's I don't know if you guys know who Wayne Dyer is. I quote him all the time, and he quotes people all the time, but doesn't give them credit. But this quote came from Max Planck, but I heard it from Wayne Dyer. And he said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So perhaps it wasn't the movers, it was that I overextended myself. I felt like I could do it. And you know what? I could, provided that the people around me were also willing to help out. But on Friday, I don't know what happened, but with Robert being with the movers and the kids socializing, I was in the kitchen by myself. And so that expectation and that not speaking up or not whatever, that kind of like messes with you. It really does. And the whole goal of the I Am the Solution is to become a self-cleaning oven. So I thought, okay, well, let me process this. I want to share with you how I normally process things so that you know, okay, well, this is not right. This is not what I was expecting. This is how I'm feeling. So the mess in the house, all of that, because when you're moving, things look great until you bring more boxes. Then it gets messy. Then you get the boxes off. Then it looks great again. Then you bring more boxes. Then it looks messy. And I always say, when there's mess in your home, then your life is out of balance. And my life is out of balance. And when your life is out of balance, I don't have the same temperament that I would have when things are flowing. Things could have continued to flow regardless of what was happening, but the lack of sleep, lack of eating, lack of drinking water, all those things that normally I do take care of myself for did not happen. As a result, then the outcome is going to come and flow out differently. So what do you get when you squeeze an orange? Anyone? Bueller? What do you get when you squeeze an orange? You get orange juice. Why? Because that's what's inside you. That's what's inside the orange, is the juice of the orange. But what do you get when life squeezes you? Is it resistance? So let me tell you about resistance. Resistance leads to illness. Resistance leads to poor communication, poor relationships. Resistance leads to victimization. And I'm aware of that. And I became aware of that was happening in myself. It's been a while since I have experienced that resistance to the point where I had to stop myself and say, okay, I need to shift. I need to move some things around and I need to deal with some things. So I came up with an acronym. And how do you know you're in resistance? Because you're unhappy. There's discontentment. There is depression, anxiety, whatever you want to call it. I don't experience depression. There have been times where I've been sad, but that's a normal emotion. There have been times where I'm angry. That's a normal emotion. And by the way, anger is a subset of sadness. So there's sadness, but above that, the way you categorize the emotion is through anger, and it's usually displaced. It's displaced anger. So if you're angry all the time, underneath that anger, there's a lot of sadness. And if you are able to deal with the sadness, that anger will just dissipate. And so when you are feeling that discontentment, you know you're in resistance. So how do you get rid of resistance? You become aware. So I created an acronym: be at peace. Be at peace. How to go from resistance to acceptance. How do you do that? And so I followed what I did. Well, first of all, I'm still in the middle of it. So if I break into dance, is because I'm in resistance. So people ask me all the time, why are you dancing? Why do you dance? Especially if it's a difficult topic. It started when I was on radio and my guests were nervous because at the time I was doing a lot more local, and people had never been on the radio. So we would dance together. I would put on Suavemente and we would dance to that, or Pitbull. We would put on Fireball and we would dance to that. And by the time the show started, they were fine. They forgot all about their nerves. And that's how it started. But as it has continued, you can shift your mood just by the music that you listen to. So when I had the movers and the people doing the flooring, it was like this satanic rock and roll. I'm not a prude. I can handle music, but that was like, you couldn't even understand the lyrics. It was just a bunch of screaming. That does not blend well with me. So I need to be aware of that. And I would put on, whenever that music would end, I would put on my music. I'm the owner of the home, so I would decide. And so I'd put on my workout Christian hits, and because my mom taught me when I was a little girl, you never listen to slow dancing music. You listen to fast, and the Spanish is merengue. My mom would say, turn off the bolero, put on the merengue, because she wanted us to work fast. And when I have some fast music, we work fast. But I created this acronym. It's be at peace. So I'm going to break it down for you so that perhaps maybe you can go and shift from one to the other. Well, first of all, I had mentioned to you that when you are in that resistance, there's discontentment, there's anxiety, there's a lot of things that your body is trying to reject. And as a result, the body's saying, not here, not now. And the brain is going, oh, no, my God, this is horrible, horrible, horrible. Well, we'll see. So I want to share a story before we go into the Be at Peace acronym. And the story is of this village, the many, many, many hundreds of years ago. And there was a farmer with a son. And all they had was a horse. That's all they had for their farm. And they would grow their food and they would sell it with just the son, the farm, and the farmer, and the horse. Well, one day there was a horrible storm and the door of the stable flung open and the horse ran away. So the people in the village went, "Oh, what poor luck." And the farmer said, "Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see." Then many years, not many years, but a few days later, the horse came back with 5 other horses. And the people in the village said, "Wow, what great luck you have." And the farmer said, "Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see." So then the son, who was just excited to have another horse, let alone 5, started to train the horses and how to work the land with them. And he rode a horse, and the horse bucked him, and he flew off the horse, and he broke his leg. And of course, the people said, "Oh, what horrible luck you have! That's horrible." And the farmer said, "Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see." Well, later than that week, the military came in because there was a war. And they took all the able-bodied young men to war, a war that was useless, senseless, and they would never return back home from it. Or not, if they returned back, they weren't the same. But when they saw the young man with a broken leg, they let him stay home. And the people in the village said, "What great luck you have." And you know what the farmer said? "Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see." The reason I'm telling you this story is because whenever something happens to me, I think Romans 8. Romans 8 says that God will work things out for the good of all who love him. Now, I don't like to say God is a he or God has a gender. So, but I'm quoting scripture here. Work things out for the good of all who love him. So who is all? That's me. That's you. So when we perceive something as not going the way we want it to go, then we can say, maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see if this is what needs to happen. The reason I'm speaking to you here today is because of something that happened back in 2010. So that experience, I could have said, "That's horrible." Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. And look where it led me, to a bunch of growth with people, with teachers in the classroom, and becoming a life coach, and being able to have a Bible study with Dr. Lorraine Day, and have meals with Dr. Joel Furman. And I'm not saying that is all that, but I've learned that was the only way God knew I would learn, because I was so stubborn. And I grew up in a family of right fighters. So everything I believed was right. That all needed to change. And I believe this classroom, the show back then, now it's turned into a classroom, has saved my life. Because instead of criticism, I became curious. And I am asking you to do the same, to look at your perspective, your situation today, as maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. Perhaps this is not what you want right now, but what is the blessing that will come from it? So going back to my acronym, be at peace. The acronym for releasing resistance. Are you guys ready? So let me hear from you. I cannot even read this stuff right now. Okay, let's see. Do I have any cues? Do I have any cues? If you have any questions, make sure you type in a cue and send me your love, share, like, follow. Okay. And also make sure that you become a subscriber of the classroom and that you go to my sponsors page and you might and purchase products that are for my affiliate program, because all of that helps out the classroom. You also get discounts when you shop through my website. So make sure that you stay connected, stay because you never know when the classroom is going to stop being the classroom and we will need to resort to other things. So make sure that you subscribe. And to help grow the classroom, if you're looking to tithe, if you're looking to donate, if you're looking to help us by becoming an enrolled student, and help donate with your time, your talent, and your treasure. And so those are different ways that we can grow the classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to get that out of the way. So the B in the BE of the Be at Peace is be who you say you are. There are a lot of people out there, and I know that I have fallen into that at times. It's a trap. It's a trap where you want people to see you as anything but who you are. You want them to see you as, logical or intelligent or smart or funny. And even if you are all those things, you know in your heart you're being disingenuous. You know that you're not. Perhaps you're pretending to be more like them instead of being more like you. So be who you say you are means that if something negative happens to you, like I said, what do you get when you squeeze an orange? You squeeze an orange and you get orange juice. Why? Because it's in there. But when you're squeezed, venom, anger, stooping to a low level, calling people names. Remember, that's if it comes out of you when you're angry or when you're feeling sharp temper, short temper, those are the things that you need to guide yourself with. But just be who you say you are. So clean out all that trash in you so that when these things happen, maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. How do you clean out all this stuff? You join the New Truth series, I Am the Solution, January 8th. Make sure you enroll to that. So that's when you become a you start the process. You start the process of becoming a self-cleaning oven. Okay. So be who you say you are means that even if somebody attacks you, even if somebody says something that makes you become defensive, you stay within your principles. You stay within what you believe is honest, righteous, and true. Be who you say you are. They hurt you, doesn't mean you have to hurt them back. It means that you need to rise above it. If you are an overcomer like that, then be who you say you are. Don't use these moments. And believe me, there were lots of tense moments between Robert and I, but we always knew, we prayed before that may our temperament and that love will shine through all of this. And we recuperated. We would recuperate from that because we knew it was within us. We knew it wasn't them, and we knew it was within us, because if we're responsible for everything, then it is what it is, right? Okay. So, and if you want me to go through one thing or another, if I'm going through this too fast, come join us in the I Am the Solution workshop. Okay. So good morning, all of you who are watching. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm hoping that we're having visitors from all over the world today. Okay. The E is efficient, effective. So you want to be prepared. You want to be aware that E is to make sure, like the morning of was like, Rocky, we got this move. We know we got this going on. So be effective, but don't just cheer in vain. Make sure that you have things in place. And even with that, things can fall apart. Just know that even with that, things can fall apart. So be who you say you are, and the E is effective. Okay. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to type in a Q. So that BE is out of the way. At, the A is awareness. So instead of lashing out at somebody, become aware. How am I feeling right now? Do I feel attacked? Do I feel, what is the word? How am I feeling, and how am I going to release it? Because remember, if you don't release it, it will go into your body and it will remain in one of your healing centers. What are the healing centers? They're correlated with the chakras. So there are 7. I'm going on the top of my head here. There are 7. And those are a different, and I go through this on I Am the Solution, but these different areas affect different places in your life, like family, or your heart may, or your thyroid may be that you don't have a voice, or, and I don't have the chart in front of me, but I share this chart in the I Am the Solution workshop that I do on January 8th will be my second one that we'll do together. So where is it and how am I going to release it? Am I going to dance? Oh yeah. I listened to music the whole entire time, and anytime I could dance, I would. That dancing, that song will release these endorphins. It's like working out or whatever, and it will help you the process of releasing or shifting. Maybe you're not wanting to release at this time. Maybe it's something bigger that you like. My flooring. I'm still dealing with the flooring that I did not order, that I inherited, and I am trying to get something done with the flooring. So that I cannot release. I mean, I've released the emotion, but I need to be at doing whatever it takes to get things done. And so that awareness of what am I going to do with this and how it's going to be released is important and crucial in going from resistance to acceptance. And then T, the AT for be at AT. T is trust the process. Once again, need I remind you, Romans 8, read the whole Romans 8 where it talks about the groaning of the spirit, and that even though you don't have words, or maybe you can't even pray because you're so upset or sad or whatever, the spirit speaks and communicates with your creator, with our creator. So even if you don't have the words, God knows. And God works things all out. So it's a process. It's a process that must happen. And when you are in that, when it's the right time and when it's God's timing, it will happen the way it needs to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to be flawless. It just means that you need to trust the process, because God is working things out for me. God will also work things out for you. And that kind of coordination takes time. So be at is very important. That the T be trust the process. Water. I wrote an article called I Am Water. And the reason why I was inspired to write the article for the floor today, I Am Water, is because we had a leak in our home. And I remember sitting right in a place, and there was a drip, there was a crack, but the water wasn't coming above it. It wasn't coming above it. It was coming from another section from the back of the house. That water found its way all the way to that crack right in the corner of my office. Water did not care what it had to do to find a way out. So be like water. So that's what I mean with that awareness, with that, the trusting the process and being who you say you are, releasing being effective, figuring out a way and how to get to that other side. And when you are out of resistance, you are able to think a bit more clearly so that you can get these things done. Okay, so peace, the acronym for peace. P is persistence. If you ask Robert, my middle initial when I was a young girl as P. I changed my P to an M because my maiden name is Medina. So I went from P to an M because I didn't like my middle name. And it turned out through doing some work that P is, the middle name is Pilar. So my name is Lillian del Pilar Medina. That was my maiden name. And when I removed the P, my husband said, that P is persistence. So that's my middle name. So he still says that my middle name is P for persistence, even though it's an M now. And so with that in mind, persistence, do whatever it takes. That water, be that water that finds its way. Water is not figuring it out. It just does it. Sometimes you just got to do it. And then everything falls into place. Sometimes you need to create a plan. And that's another P. So be the P, the persistence, make a plan, create whatever it is that you want to create. E is energy. Be aware of the energy in the room. Just like I was aware of that satanic music that was playing in my home. Once it was turned off, I turned on my music. Because sometimes you just have to do and allow the flow to happen. If it's not your home, sometimes you need to ask for permission. But if it's your home, be who you say you are. And so create that energy that you want in your home. I certainly didn't want that negative energy that was being broadcasted through whatever medium that music was coming out of. It just didn't support. And it was interesting that I prayed and I thought, I can't handle this. How am I going to confront these people to shut their phone off? So I prayed. And you know what? A break happened and the music was done. So I didn't even have to be confrontational. I just turned on my music. And that was the way I thought how to do it. And if they didn't like it, too bad, it's my home. Now, if it was their home, then of course it would be a totally different thing. You have to adapt. If you can change it, great. If you can't, that's fine too. You just learn. But that energy, if somebody is depressed in a room, it'll bring the energy down. Everything is a frequency. Everything. The earth has a frequency of 7.83 hertz. And that frequency is a healing frequency. If your feet hurt, your back hurts, just lay on the ground, on the earth, go to the beach, go to nature, make sure there's no pesticide in the ground, because then that creates another problem. But just lay down and just experience the frequency of the earth, guaranteed. Your back pain will go away. And of course, some of the product that I have is called ground therapy. You can do that and achieve that in the house because the house is grounded. And so if you go to my Shop Now page, you'll find the product there if you're interested in learning more. But a person can lower. So if a person is in a room and they're having horrible thoughts, negative thoughts of, I hate you, I hate life, it will bring that frequency down. Hate, fear, low frequency. Those frequencies open the door for disease. Love, peace, high frequency. Those frequencies create health and wellness. So you got to, if you have people that are negative, if they're not willing to shift, you need to get away from them until you get strong enough to be like, boom, 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 like combat them like Wonder Woman. So that E is for energy. So P is persistence, E is energy, and A is ask for what you need. If you don't ask for what you need, then you'll get a thyroid condition, just like I do. But so ask for what you need and create what you want. That's part of the C. So when you ask, affirm, you can also affirm the group around you. Because sometimes the people around you just need a cheerleader. Can you be that cheerleader? Like, great job. That looks phenomenal. I've got these lights that are just shining on my face. Let me move here a second. Looks like somebody's anyway, just affirm. So sometimes you need to ask for what you need, and sometimes you just need to affirm. So it all depends on what you need to be at peace of. So I wanted to share one or the other. And asking for what you need when you are trusting the process, being effective, aware of your emotions, is going to be different than if you're just furious and you just start blaring and blasting people. And I'm sure that you can relate to that too. I can. There's been times in my life that prior to me working on myself, and sometimes after, we're not perfect, but then you got to go back and you need to apologize if that ever happens. You need to let people know that you were not aware of, not to make an excuse, but that you were not aware. That is on you, not on them. It's not that I'm not aware, so I acted the way I did. Sorry. No. Awareness is key. It is part of responsibility to become aware of how you're feeling. So with that in mind, asking for what you want, and then the C is calm. Just be calm about it. Cool, collected. No, with the be at peace, the other words, which is that everything's going to work out, trust the process, just be calm about it, and create and be consistent. So all these C's will get you calm, cool, collected, create, be consistent. All these C's will help you in the process of going from resistance to acceptance. And I don't think I need to go through that. If you or explain a little bit more, if you need to be calm, I've explained that the breath, just become aware of your breath. And if you are breathing like this, where your chest is going up, you are not breathing. The breath that I'm talking about comes from the diaphragm, comes from below the rib cage. And I've shown this before, where it's almost like when you're surprised and you go like that, and your abdomen expands, your rib cage expands. And the best way to kind of practice this is to lay on your back and put your hand over your diaphragm or underneath your rib cage over your belly. And that will go up and down. So just breathe, and that will bring you down from a 10 to a 3, or a 5 to a 3 to a 1. And just keep breathing. But you got to be consistent about this. You've got to be aware that this is happening. So that's why the Be at Peace acronym hopefully will set in with all of you. Then last is the E, expectation versus reality. One of the reasons people have disagreements with one another is because they had an expectation that something was going to be done and it wasn't done. That expectation is not on them, it's more on you. I expected something to have somebody else do. But what if that expectation was, I am expecting something for me to do? I'm going to do it. If I'm expecting it, then I need to create it. I need to ask for what I want. I need to create it. I need to be prepared for it. I need to plan for it, whatever it is. If there's an expectation without asking for what you want, then that's going to lead to a disaster. But if you think about it, think about the times that you've had problems with another person because they didn't do what you thought they needed to do. Or were you clear with your expectations? Did you ask for what you needed? Were you aware of how things were coming across? Did you have a conversation with the other person? So those are questions that you can ask yourself that will lead you to, okay, were my expectations proper, or do I need to kind of retool what needs to be done? So if I have expectations and the other person says, no, I'm not willing to do that, that ends the conversation right there. Or other, you can say, well, why not? Is there anything else that you would be willing to do? What are you willing to do? I know you're not willing to do this, but what are you willing to do? negotiation. Those are all ways that your expectation can be brought to reality, right? That this is what we really, but sometimes when you don't say what you're expecting, the reality might be different because the other person has different expectations. My idea of perfection is an illusion. Their idea of perfection is an illusion. But what if we could work together at creating excellence, something that is win-win? What if in the process of being at peace or be at peace or to be at peace, you do have a conversation about the expectations? I'm telling you right now, that could change everything. Like right before the move, Robert and I sat down and said, okay, who's doing this? Who's doing that? Not, I thought you were going to do it. No, I thought you were going to do it. And then that's when World War III breaks out. Expectations versus reality. So the floors are in. My expectation is, well, I'm going to have to live with these floors. And so how do I fall in love with these floors? What can I do to make these floors more of what I want? And that's my job. I need to work at that. I get to work at that. Why? Because if I don't, I will become obsessed with the floors. And that obsession with the floor is going to lead me to discontentment, dis-ease, and I will feel like a victim. Which, by the way, people who are victimized or feel like a victim, and everybody, I know we know somebody's always the victim, never taking ownership of whatever it is. That right there changed my life because I was a victim too. I was a victim too. But eventually, you stop. You got to stop telling the story in your head. And you got to say, it stops today. It stops right now. So what is that voice, that story in your head that you keep telling yourself way beyond what your abuser has done for you or has done to you? At what point do you stop and say, okay, so now what? Can I change it? No. So then I need to accept it. What are the steps that I need to do to accept it? Be at peace. Be at peace. So I don't know if you have any question. Oh, so, okay, I'm looking down. Blackjack or Jake? Black Jake. Classical music always works for me. Yes, whatever works for you to bring you from that 10 to an 8 to a 5 to a 3 to a 1. Anger doesn't, if you have explosive anger, that means that there's a lot to deal with that's underneath. There's a lot of sadness that's underneath that anger. And again, we work on that at the New Truth series, I Am the Solution. And that's going to be January 8th. I want you to go to New Truth series. When you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, and of course, when you subscribe, you can go to the New Truth series. So if anybody out there is an explosive, angry person, we will work on that. We will work on healing and forgiveness and acceptance and finding purpose. That's another P that you can adjust, be at peace, and do whatever acronym works for you. This is what works for me. See, if you repeat it, then you're just repeating. But if you take what I'm saying, be at peace, and you change it to suit you, then now it's your truth. It's your new truth. You got to make it work for yourself, not me working in you, working for yourself, or Dr. Day or Dr. Furman, or it's got to become your lifestyle change. So I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but if you look at, okay, this didn't work all together well, but what are the blessings? What happened? Well, we're in our new place. That's great. That's wonderful. We're in our new place. We love it here. We've been wanting to be here for a long time. So if I have to put up with a little crap to get the place looking like home, then I do. That's when you start negotiating win-win, saying, okay, I'm willing to do this to get to here. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to go from here to point A, from point A to point B? Only you can answer that. I know what I'm willing to do. I know what Robert's willing to do, my husband. I know, but you know what? It really falls on you. It falls on me. Ooh, I got my fluffy sweater on, and it doesn't look very fluffy, but it's kind of cold in Florida. I don't even know what temperature it is right now, and I'm getting all this little fuzziness on my lip. But it is so important that you take care of yourself. See the signs when you're out of balance. And when you're out of balance, you're going to be short-tempered. You're in resistance of what is. So figure out a way that works for you. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? And so I am, so Chica, you're from Florida? From Florida. Oh, South Florida. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so who else is on? Good morning. So I'm looking at, so here we go, resistance. Okay, so is that here we go resistance as in your friend resistance? Or is that here we go resistance as your enemy resistance? I'm just asking because resistance can become our excuse for not living life. Think about it. If I am angry with the world because I was dealt a bad deck of cards, then I have every excuse in the book why not I am not successful. So resistance can be your friend. It could be your way of life too. It is up to you to choose what it is that you want. Focus on what you want and create more of what you want. The moment you start, like I told you the story about the movers, but eventually the story about the movers, the story about the floor, the story about, all the other things that occurred during this move will become, okay, go to whenyouneedafriend.com, the 100% responsibility page, because you cannot be at peace if you're unwilling to take 100% responsibility. So the 4 questions of responsibility are, how did I create it? What are the gifts and lessons? Now that I know how I created it and I know what the gifts and lessons are, what's going to be different? And the 4th, if you're really ready to take 100% responsibility, is how can I use this for the greater good? Whatever happened in my life, no matter what it is, how will I use this to bless someone else who's going through the same trial that I went through? The reason why I can help with people who are in crisis in marriage is because I've been divorced. You would think the opposite, right? Oh, you got divorced. But Robert and I have been married for almost 27 years, 26 years. We've been together 27. So we know what it takes to stay together. And fortunately for us, neither one of us wanted to leave at the same time. I mean, like both of us wanted to leave at the same time. Maybe one said, oh, I'm so fed up with this. And the other person said, oh, no, you're committed to the commitment. There's that reminder. You can't always go by what you feel. You have to go by what your commitment is. That's why sometimes when I'm with my mom and I'm in an hour and a half away and I need to come back and be here to do the classroom, the commitment, I was able to do both, be with my mom, come here and be with you. So today I ask you the question, are you in resistance? And what are you willing to do to be at peace? Some of you will say, oh, but I can't be at peace because of this, because I can't condone it. I can't forgive it. And I'm telling you, another quote that I heard from Dr. Wayne Dyer, it's not the snake bite that kills you. It's the venom that runs through your blood. You can make resistance your friend, but ultimately that friend will betray you. Or you can become aware of the resistance and be at peace. Make that plan. So real quick, be who you say you are, be effective or efficient, be aware, trust the process, persistence, create that energy that you want, ask for what you want, be calm, cool, collected, creative, consistent, and expectations versus reality. If you're going to be in resistance, or if you're going to be like poor is me, victimization, then please know that dis-ease will follow. And you can take a pill or you can take responsibility. Either way, you're in choice. Either way, you get to decide, do I want to release this? Because once you release something, it makes room for abundance to flow in. So what do you want? What are you willing to do? Share it, claim it, declare it. Text me 407-373-5959. Let me know if this conversation today helped you, because I had to live through it. I had to live through it to kind of get to this place to be at peace. Now, it doesn't mean that everything is perfect. Perfection is an illusion. But can I be at peace regardless of what's happening around me? Now, that is crucial. That is excellence, not perfection. So I hope that today you were able to get something out of the conversation. That's stage 4 of taking ownership for your life. And by the way, question number 1, and I must be careful when I say, how did you create it? Because nobody wants to take responsibility of creating disease or problems. And it's when you answer that question, it cannot be with blame, shame, fault, or duty. It is what it is. So if somebody was molested as a child, how did they create that? Well, they were born into the family. As simple as that. 2 + 2 = 4. No emotion. 2 + 2 don't say, I can't believe it's 4. No, it's not that way. So it is time. It is time to change your mindset. I want to invite you to come and be a part of the I Am the Solution, the New Truth series, I Am the Solution. Check out the videos. Check out to see if this is something that could help you as well, because coaching might be cost prohibitive, but this weekend might be exactly what was ordered in order for you to live the life of your dreams. We're going to continue our conversation real quick, see if there's any questions. And continue our conversation after. Like, follow us. And for those of you who are listening on podcasts or watching on BitChute later on, please know you can join us on Facebook and YouTube. And please remember, I'll be right here. Oh, let me wait that. I'll wait there.
Show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
I didn't want to talk over that, but please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Okay, now that we are off the podcast, I will read some of your comments. Let me see if you have any comments. Let's see. Chica Bear, have to get ready to work. Okay, we'll listen with you in spirit. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome. Good morning, Eunice. And it's Black Jake, classical music, and KURB from Australia. Love it. I am so glad that you're joining us. What time is it in Australia right now? I'm wondering. Okay, so let me check over. And Kathleen, I don't know where you're from, but I know that there's people watching on Facebook and YouTube. So I hope that today's conversation has helped in any way. I know I go through it real fast, but the beauty of Facebook and YouTube or these videos are that you can always listen to it. And if you need extra help, I'm a certified life coach. Also, I have the weekend retreat, and we do have the workshop, not the workshop, but the 12-week series with Dr. Lorraine Day called the 50 Lessons from Exodus. We talked about that yesterday. So I hope that you will join us, figure out a way to create the life that you want. And so now I must go because I have lots of boxes to unpack. And so I look forward to our next conversation. I love you all. Take care. Bye.